Hi, I'm Maria Shriver.
Hi, I'm John Podesta.
And welcome to awomensnation.com. And we're so glad that you're here because we have a really exciting report that we want to tell you about. It's called the Shriver Report, and it's a collaboration between myself and John Podesta and his amazing team at the Center for American Progress. And it really grew out of the women's conference that we host in California, where thousands of women were coming and telling us that the institutions in their life were not keeping up with the changes that were going on for them at home and in business, or they didn't understand what role government played in their lives today. They felt that men didn't really understand the stresses and the struggles that they were under. So when John and I sat down, John was saying that, in fact, you guys were studying the economic crisis and its impact on women, and so many of the job losses being in male-dominated professions. And we decided to really take a look at the fact that women are now half of the American workforce, and mothers are the primary or co-breadwinners in 2/3 of American families. And so our report is a combination of the East and the West. It's got a lot of really exciting partners, and it has incredible data and facts.
And I think one of the inspirations for the report was a report done in the early 1960s when President Kennedy asked Eleanor Roosevelt to do a report on the status of American women. And so much has changed. This year, we're going to see for the first time a majority of workers in America will be women. 2/3 of households in America are either the primary breadwinner is a woman, or the co-breadwinner in the household is a woman. And so the economic well-being of American families more and more are dependent on the earning and the willpower of American women. And we wanted to take that trend, look at it, examine what it meant for not just government policy, but for businesses, for faith communities, for the media, how they're reacting to this. It's clear that the American family knows and the American public knows that this is a trend that's set in, and they're basically quite positive about it. 3/4 of the people in a poll that accompanies this report said that it's a good thing that so many women are able to participate in the economy and participate in the economic well-being of their families. But the institutions that they live in, business, government, et cetera, really haven't caught up. So we wanted to get a conversation started. And that's what this website's all about, to help you get a conversation started around your kitchen tables or in your workplaces to talk about the dramatic shift, the most probably profound transformation socially in our country over the last couple of decades.
What's really exciting to me also, John, is that so many people who've read this report, and you can get it by going on the website, reading it. You can order it at Amazon.com. They said, "This is my life," reflected in this report. And also so many other people have said to me, when I read this report, I had the most interesting discussion with the man in my life, with men at my workplace. And I think so much in the past, men and women have been kind of separated in their discussions. And the companies that are handling this new change the best are those that have brought men and women together to talk about workplace flexibility, to talk about childcare, to talk about elder care, to talk about recreating the culture at their company, whether it's in telecommuting or virtual employees. There's a lot of really exciting things that are going on the ground. We want to hear from you. What is your company doing that's successful? What are you doing if you have a small business? Women are opening businesses at twice the rate of men. What do you want to see the government do to change to reflect your family status? Because all of these institutions need to start developing smart family policies. And that's the goal of this report, is to fan out across the country and begin the discussion of what does a smart workplace look like? What does a smart government look like? What do smart faith-based institutions look like? And what is the smart dialogue that's going on in negotiations between men and women all over this country?
And I think one of the things that's different from certainly a think tank report, I run a think tank, the Center for American Progress, but one of the things that's really quite different in this report, and I thank Maria for that, was we've reached out to a lot of people who provide those kinds of personal essays to reflect on where America's been and where it is and where it's going. And I think that that will really, I think, help empower voices who want to see change so that people who are under tremendous stress, another finding of the poll was 75% of Americans feel like they're under daily stress in their work life, trying to balance their work and their family and their responsibility to their children, their parents, etc. But we need to engage in that conversation so that we can create a society that's going to work for American families.
One of the goals of this report is to obviously have it land on the desk in the Oval Office, to give it to all members of Congress, all governors and first spouses, because there are some female governors, so we have to say first spouses, local officials throughout this country, and also put it into the kitchen tables, the homes of men and women all over this country. And I'm really so happy that so many men seem to be interested in the findings of this report and to being engaged in this conversation.
And I think this will be the talk of the Women's Conference, which will be going on next week, which has been so successful in California under Maria's leadership. But we'll also be having convening forums about what policy changes that government needs to take place. And we're excited about partnering with the White House as their task force on women and girls and their middle class task force begin to study the findings in the report, fan out across the country, and start engaging in their own conversations in communities across the country. So we look forward to those dialogues and seeing real change happen as a result of this report.
Yeah, I think the point you always make, John, which is so great, is that government employs more people than anybody else. And so it has a great opportunity here to be a model employer. And so many of its laws and the way it conducts itself are based on what was the traditional family 40, 50 years ago, that's just out of date and unrealistic, and that it must change in order to reflect who Americans are today.
When we asked the American public what they wanted to change the most, the number one answer was they wanted more flexible work schedules. They wanted to be able to negotiate with their employers to be able to balance their work and their family life, and to be able to take care of their children. And I think that with a real push both by talking to CEOs, talking to business people across the country, showing that the best practices actually lead to the bottom line, to better profits, to more stable workforces, and to talking to legislatures across the country, we can really make change happen.
So it all starts here, and we want you to be a part of this discussion, and we want you to be a part of this change, because all good change starts at the ground level, and that's with you. So thanks so much for joining us.